Jared Sandler joins you now here on your home of the Rangers, 105.3 The Fan as they get the sweep. Buddy, how we doing?
What's up, guys? Just heading to the airport.
Already?
Yeah, well, I mean, we fly out right after the game.
Okay, all righty.
We got off day in L.A. tomorrow?
Off day in L.A., baby.
Off day in L.A., yeah, back to the old stomping grounds. I'm going to go, guys. We're staying not too terribly far from a place called Lucky Boy. It's kind of like a hole in the wall. You walk up and you order. They've got breakfast burritos the size of your head. And I plan on having a breakfast burrito tonight. They're open till midnight. Plan on having one tomorrow, the next day, and the next day. That is the thing that I maybe miss the most, being out, like, from a food standpoint, is Lucky Boy's breakfast burritos. They are so good.
Is this the Lendale White spot that you told us about?
No. That's great. I do miss that. The Lendale. It was Armando's food truck on campus back before food trucks were like a big thing. Like, it was like, wow, like there's this truck and they're serving food. Like, that's pretty cool. Like, it wasn't so prevalent as it is now. The Lendale was named after Lendale White because you customize the sandwich. The ingredients are not going to shock you when if you know Lendale White, but it was 2 pieces of Texas toast, a fried hash brown, not like the strips, but like a put-together square hash brown, a big sausage patty, 4 strips of bacon, a fried egg, cheese, and you'd either get it con jelly or sin jelly. And let me tell you, it might not sound good with jelly, but that was so good when you'd add some jelly on it. It probably had about 5,000 calories, but it was unbelievable. And it, like, my freshman 15 or college 15 or 50 or whatever was pretty much strictly because of Lendale's. I think I would exercise off the alcohol, but the Lendale's, like, I couldn't work those out of my stomach. Those were a lot, but they were worth it.
Jared Sandler here with you after a Rangers victory over the Mariners. They swept them in the 3-game set. How good is this pitching staff to do this over the last 3 days to Seattle?
Yeah, I think what's so impressive about this rotation, Gavin, is the swing and miss ability pretty much top to bottom. And I think as Kumar Rocker, if he's able to stay healthy and stay in the rotation, we'll see his swing and miss numbers improve, because that typically is something that increases or improves as young guys get experience. But the Rangers entered today leading Major League Baseball in whiff rate, just as a staff as a whole. The rotation led Major League Baseball in whiff rate. Those numbers only, improved today with MacKenzie Gore. And I think what really jumps out about these guys, Jacob deGrom's got his fastball slider combo, but Eovaldi, Leiter, and Gore can get swings and misses with ease with, 4 in the case of Eovaldi and Leiter, 5 pitches. And so their arsenals are so deep, they can attack you in so many different ways. And there's a lot of value in that, as you go through the course of the marathon of the season.
Were you surprised that Gore came out when he did today?
So at first I thought, oh man, Chris Martin's warm, and then you look at the pitch count, and I thought the explanation was good. A 41 pitch, really long inning. He's probably near the end of the line anyway. You've got an off day tomorrow. I liked what Skip Schumacher said, that, that's not going to be the norm. You don't want a guy who is as good as MacKenzie Gore is to, not be able to give you 6 innings and 95 pitches. But that, I don't like Skip said, that's not the case. He just, all the different factors combined, really underscored by that long inning, why they made that move. But I think as the season goes on, you can expect, and I think MacKenzie Gore will expect to be able to give this team 6 innings. Because, again, that stuff also adds up, right? The ability to get that 6th inning as a starting pitcher really makes a difference for a bullpen as the season, goes on, and you add innings and experience and mileage. But then also when you're in a stretch without an off day for, 2.5 weeks, that stuff really can help you sustain success over those stretches.
Jared, Brandon Nimmo just doesn't seem to be cooling down. I mean, I think we were excited about the addition, but what we're getting so far through the first couple weeks of the season, it's got to be even beyond what we dreamed of.
Yeah, I mean, he's been really good, and it's amazing, how much of a difference it makes when you get production out of the leadoff spot. The Rangers had that in 2023 with Marcus Semien. Unfortunately, they didn't get that type of production the last couple of years And, I mentioned on the postgame, Corey Seager now with 2 sack flies.
Yeah.
He had 2 sack flies all of last year and 2 the year before. And, he's getting opportunities with guys in scoring position. And it makes a difference when your best hitter gets those chances. And Brandon Nimmo's obviously a big part of that. And then, what Nimmo did to, lead to the first 2 runs, I think is kind of, in a weird way, in a very low-scoring series, the poster child at bat for the Rangers this series. And that is just putting the ball in play against a starting pitching trio for the Mariners that they strike guys out in their sleep. Logan Gilbert led Major League Baseball in strikeout per 9 rate, minimum 100 innings. George Kirby's more than a strikeout per inning guy. Same with Brian Wu. And the Rangers struck out, twice against Wu, 4 times against Gilbert maybe. They didn't strike out a lot against Kirby. They put the ball in play. And when you do that, you give yourself a chance. And Brandon Nimmo's a little dribbler, gave the Rangers a chance, and it led to 2 runs.
How important is it just to be able to beat a team like Seattle like this? Like, this is a team that has given the Rangers so many fits recently.
Yeah, I remember in 2023, the Rangers got off to that great start, and then we went to Houston. And it was almost like that was going to be the litmus test to this great start. Was it real or was it fake? And they went and they took 2 of 3 from Houston and Minute Maid Park, where they just were not able to win games in the years prior. I think like the 5 years prior, they struggled so mightily there. And I remember asking people, because you guys know I'm not a big small sample size guy, right? So, I didn't know what to put into that. But guys were like, no, like that was meaningful. Winning that series was meaningful. And I think when you're doing it against the defending division champs, a team you hope to compete with, and you go and you sweep them, you kind of set the tone that it's not going to be like the last couple of years. I think that's meaningful. Now, they could go and lose the next 10 games against Seattle, and we'll look back and say, well, it was just false hope. But I get the sense that's not going to be the case. And they matched their season win total against Seattle in this one series to what they were able to achieve each of the last 2 years. So I do think it was meaningful. And, we also talked about if a tiebreak does come into play, banking wins against your divisional team, divisional rivals, makes a big difference.
Jared, what are the chances that Seattle is going to continue to be a poor hitting team when these 2 teams get together on April 17th?
Well, I hope so. There are 2 things. The 2 big names offensively for Seattle are Julio Rodriguez and Cal Raleigh. Now, Cal Raleigh is a good hitter. I don't think anyone realistically could expect him to get to 60 home runs, right? Like if Cal Raleigh gave you 40 home runs, I think you would be fired up. That's still a 20 home run difference from last year, right? Julio Rodriguez is a big enigma because he just, for whatever reason, cannot get off to a good start. I remember Mark Teixeira, when he was with the Rangers, it was like, let's just fast forward through April and then he'll get going. For whatever reason, same plague for Julio Rodriguez. So I hope that, that trend continues because this lineup is a lot better than their production. And, adding Brendan Donovan is going to make a big difference. I imagine they're going to get it going, but, that's only a week and a half from now, Broadus. And so, I hope that they're able to stay down because it's just not a lineup that's clicking at all right now.
What's it take to have success against the Dodgers this week, and what would be a successful trip to L.A.?
Well, listen, we always talk about, hey, when you're at home, you want to win 2 of 3, especially when you're the better team. And I don't know, maybe the Rangers are going to end up being better than the Dodgers. Who the heck knows? But I think it'd be fair to suggest and agree that the Dodgers are probably, at this point, considered to be the better team, right? People predicting them to win, 20 to 25 more games than the Rangers. And they're the home team. So the Dodgers expect to win a series. I think if the Rangers win 1 of 3, then you feel all right about it. Like, okay, hey, you know what? We took 1. Let's go to West Sacramento and take on the Athletics. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. If you ever get swept, that's an awful feeling. And I don't care if you're home or road or what, and you're missing their 2 best pitchers. So, that would not be, excusable. I say excusable. I don't think you could be able to write out, well, it's the Dodgers, though. I mean, they're really good. And obviously, if you took 2 of 3, then that's, you're maybe just going to, joyride to Sacramento from L.A., feeling so good about it. So you take one. I know some people might think that's defeatist. You take one, all right, then let's go and let's keep the ball moving. But you definitely don't want to get swept. I don't care who the opponent is.
Jared, are the Rangers the best team in the division?
Gavin, I think that they've got I'm trying to think of the best way to word this because I don't want to come off as, what have you done for me lately guy. I think, and I said this to you guys before the season, the Rangers could absolutely win this division. I know that vibes were not high coming off of the last 2 years, and I know people wanted the Rangers to make one of these big-time offensive acquisitions this offseason, and, they didn't, although, Brandon Nimmo's certainly, been a nice add. And the Mariners are a really good team, and the Mariners didn't get worse, right? Nothing about what the Mariners did this offseason suggests that they got worse. So I don't think it would be fair to say the Rangers are the best team in the division right now, but I think it would absolutely be unfair to not take the Rangers seriously as a team that can win the AL West. Out of respect for just the idea that this is a 162-game season, and we're, 12 games in, I can't play both sides, right? I always tell you guys, hey, we're not going to make any bold, definitive proclamations after a couple weeks, so it would be unfair for me to play both sides of the fence there. But I think the Rangers have shown early on, if you want to draw anything from these first couple weeks, that, this maybe is going to be more like the 2023 Rangers in that they're going to be a team that can contend for a division title as opposed to the 24 and 25 Rangers that just fell short and left a lot to be desired.
Sounds awesome, man. Enjoy your day off in L.A. and that breakfast burrito, and we'll catch up with you Friday afternoon.
Sounds good, fellas.
There he goes. He's at Jared Sandler on Twitter.